Hello and welcome to Trading 5 Talents. In this video, I want to give an update to the method I've been using to get my trade data from Option Alpha. So a few days ago, I introduced this method of using a Chrome extension called Web Scraper to get all of the data from the closed positions tab of the bot that you want to get the data from on Option Alpha. And so I made a video on it, and I made a post over on Option Alpha's community, and it's just entitled Method for Exporting Trade Data Easily to CSV. I give the introduction. Here's a link to the video. And I'm going to use the same method, but I'm just cleaning up a little bit of the data presentation based on some input and some suggestions here in this discussion thread. I also wanted to mention that even after the July 1st update by Option Alpha, this method still works. So I think that's great. We can still use it. And so one of the first things I'm doing is I'm using a suggestion provided by Mika here, and that is using this thing called the Regex field. And that stands for regular expression, and it's got some crazy syntax right here. But if you use it, you can actually clean up some of the data before it gets exported to the CSV. So let me show you what I'm using that for and how it's cleaning up some of the fields that I'm trying to export. Okay, so here is the bot that I've been using as my example, the free range iron fly bot. So you go to your positions, and then you're going to be scraping all of this data right here. So exporting all of this closed position data. So I'm not going to go through the entire process of how I set up this web scraper. You can see or reference the previous video for that. So I'm just going to open it up right now. And it's right here. So here is that site map that is used as the web scraper. And if I click on this, what you're going to see, well, let me click on this one. And then the first thing I want to show you is the close date. So if you remember from the previous method, when I got the close date from these closed trades, what was happening is that there was a dash and then a space and then the actual close date. And so after I imported all of that data into Google Sheets, I was able to clean up the format of that date by using some formulas. But by using this regex that Mika had suggested, if you look here, you can see that you just put this code right into the regex field. And then when you view the data now, you can see the close dates are right here. And so it doesn't have those leading characters. So that's a really good suggestion. And thank you, Mika, for providing that. The other thing that we worked out in the community was the open date. So again, before what I was doing is I was getting the DIT, so the days in trade, and then I was using that in Google Sheets and subtracting the days in trade from the close date right here, and then getting the open date, and then it just takes another formula, another column. But I found that if you look at this right here and you keep your mouse over the DIT, you can see that there's this little pop-up. So the data is there on this screen, and I found a way to get that data from the web scraper, and then using regex that Mika provided, once again, being able to just extract the open date. We already have the close date, we just need the open date. And so this is how I'm doing it. So here I made a selector called open date. And so if I edit this one, this is an HTML type selector. And so what I'm selecting is the div.daysOpen. So if I show you where that is in the selector, I click on element preview, it's this red box right over here. So you don't want to get the 7, you don't want to get the D, you don't want to get the 7D, you want to get this entire box right here. And it should have this element right here, the div days open. And then you put this regex code right there that, again, Mika provided. And when you click on the data preview, this is what you have. You have the open dates of all of your trades. And so then I just rearranged all of these selectors in an order that I would find most useful if I were to import it into my trade log. And so you can rearrange them just by clicking and dragging on these 3 lines over here and then moving them however you want. All right, so let's go back here. And then if you were to look at all of the data that's being scraped, you have all of this. So the symbol, open date, the type, the strikes, the expiration, the quantity, risk, the close date, and then the premium. So I wanted those in that particular order, but of course you can rearrange them to however you want. So those are the main things that were updated in this method. But I think most importantly is that it still works even after the Option Alpha update. The next thing that I want to mention here is how can you do this for another bot? So I know many people have many different bots. I was just showing how to do it on one particular bot, but if you were to try to export the data on other bots, do you have to go through the entire process? And the simple answer is no. And so once again, this was a suggestion given by Mika, and I really appreciate all of the input and knowledge that Mika has provided in refining this process. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here to the sitemap, and you can see this is the one that I made, and this is the one that we went through to get all of the data from the free range bot. Okay, so let me click on this bot sitemap, and if I click on this drop down right here, the sitemap free range bot, and I export the sitemap. Click on that and you get all of this code right here. So this is a JSON code and this is what we want to use. So I'm just going to select all of it and then copy it. All right, and so I'm done there. I'm going to go back to sitemaps and then I'm going to just go to a bot that I want to export all their data from. So let me just find another bot and then we can try it out on that. Okay, so here's another bot. This is a day trading trending credit spread bot that I've been testing. And I want to, let's say, export all of the closed data from this bot. So I'll go to my positions tab right here, and you can see that there are quite a few of them. And so how do we get all of this data without having to recreate the entire sitemap? Well, what we can do is we can go to create sitemap here, and then we can import one. And then I'm just going to paste the JSON that I copied from the free range bot. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rename this one. And I'm just going to call this my day trade spread bot. Just like that. I'm going to copy this URL and I'm going to paste it right here. So make sure it goes within the quotes and you're not pasting over the quotes. So I'm going to paste it there just like that. And I'm going to import. And so now when I preview the data, everything should copy right over and I should be able to scrape this data just like this. So I got my symbols, my open dates, trade type, my strikes, some expirations, quantity, risk, close date, and then my premium. And then of course you can just go ahead and export all of that data into a CSV. And so now when you come over to sitemaps, you should have two. One for my free range bot, and then one for my day trade spread bot. And so you can just make all of them for all of your bots and export your data that way without having to recreate a sitemap for every single bot. So thank you, Mika, very much for all of your suggestions, all of your expertise and patience in trying to optimize this process. So if you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. Or what would probably be best is if you commented over in the Option Alpha community. That way there are many more experts there that can help answer your questions and get things set up just how you need them. So in the meantime, trade wisely and take care.